without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboys fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, guess any...
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's a Monday morning, wild card Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, wherever you are, here at Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. We've got Bo in between us, and we've got a very sad McLovin because the Dallas Cowboys does what the Dallas Cowboys do and blew it. They blew it.
Yeah.
The comment section's already live, but you got to throw it out there. How about them Cowboys?
Hey, like I said, man, it was rough. It was rough out there in the world. I'm just hoping, I hope Jerry comes to his senses. It ain't gonna happen, but wishful thinking. Terrible.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how many Cowboys fans come out to watch the show today. I'm wondering how many are going to show, because I think that they are in their beds, curled up underneath in a fetal position, just saying, but we thought this was our year. I told you I'm not going to do too much. I'm doing it right now, and then I'm ending, because we still got our stuff to do. And even if we lose, I'm very happy that you guys were out first.
We played first, so it won't be since we go out first.
So, but yeah. Let's start with that one, since you are most attached to that one. Tell me, McLovin, what happened?
Well, like me and Bo have been talking about for a hot minute, ever since, I guess, after the first quarter, quite honestly, of that game. It starts, obviously the main problem is always, everything always falls up to the main guy. The main guy being McCarthy, and then, of course, above him, it's Jerry Jones, which both of those guys are, to my saying, they're like synonymous. They're both the same problem with the Cowboys. But, when you go down to a lower level, it really kind of starts to fall a little bit more on that defense. The fact that Dan Quinn kept his cornerbacks, 5-10 yards off of the receivers. We weren't pressuring the receivers. We weren't tying them up at the line of scrimmage. Our point of attack in the trenches was horrible. We got no pressure on Jordan Love. We let him do what he wanted to do, and that's exactly what they did. We couldn't stop the run game. And like Bo said, hey, even though we're playing 10, yards off of the wide receiver, where'd they go?
Yeah, they were still looking.
They were guarding the quarterbacks. As you saw, like I said earlier, Pag's out of condition. Ass could have got that one dude at the 5-yard line, got that caught. So it is what it is, man. Honestly, I think it started off with that defense, and I think it just kind of manifested itself into more bad decision-making on Dak Prescott's side. There was several times where I thought, he was rushing balls, not paying attention, not reading, not reading anything. I don't know what he was doing. He was just all over the fucking place.
He needed the pop-up book.
So I told you, it was so bad. Look, the game was so bad on all different levels that even the field goal kicker's hitting doinks at the extra point. Not even like 20 yards at the extra point. He's hitting doinks off the extra. That's how I told Pags. I said it was so bad the water boy ran out of water and didn't know where to find more.
That was a 40-yard extra point.
Yeah,
whatever.
40 yards. So.
I'm just saying. Look, this is the same guy who went out all regular season and never doinked a one. 50 plus, didn't matter. That dude just hitting them all over the place. There's no hard wins. It's not like anything was any different other than typical Cowboy shit right now is that we just, I don't know. We're not either. Well, honestly, they weren't prepared. The Cowboys were not prepared. Clearly, they had no fight. Dan Quinn had the wrong game plan, if there was a game plan. And there was no execution all across the board. Look, this Packers team the Cowboys made the Packers look amazing. Why not the Packers were amazing? We were just total ass. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. I mean, that's just what it is. You really think the Packers are going to get past the Lions? Okay, whatever.
So, there was something about, typically, when a team wins the flip, the coin flip, they defer. And Green Bay did not. So that told me that they were in attack mode from the door. Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel about that. That they're like, listen, we're not going by conventional what convention says. Yep. They say if you get the first touchdown, you are 76% more likely to win. We're going to play with that analytics. We're going to get the ball first.
Yep, they channeled their inner Matt Hasselbeck. We want the ball and we're going to score.
But that's the thing though. If you watch this specific Cowboys playoff game is different than all the rest. Because at least in all the rest, they were somewhat competitive. They fought. They might have fucked up. They might have had penalties, whatever. But they fought. Even in the 49ers game, it came down to the last possession, and they were still trying to fight. This game, there was none. There was zero fight. No nothing. No game planning. No execution. No fight. It was soulless. And that's why I'm so discombobulated about this Cowboys game, because at least they had no fight. You saw it right from the first quarter. Right off the rip, they had no fight. And that's why Jerry Jones was even discombobulated to the point where he said, I'm floored. I'm out of words. I don't know what to say.
I think Joe misspelled since 1997. Not supposed to say all season.
So I know that Joe, that they're bagging on you. I appreciate you showing up today, Joe. You have been a big Cowboys supporter, and I was unsure if you were going to make it today. I was unsure. So today we start your healing.
I don't want them overrated. They just didn't come out to play.
Yeah, I mean,
they played good football, but they just didn't come out to play at all on any level.
That entire team was on the back of a milk carton going into that game. Like,
bro, it was like watching the FBS take on the FCS. That's what it was
Pretty much.
I mean, I was like, what the hell are we doing?
I mean, the fact that
Belichick, if you hear me, come on, Bubba, let's go. Harbaugh, come on, let's go.
7 or 8, was it 7 out of 8 scores? 7 out of 8 scores. They scored 7 out of 8 drives.
Yeah,
more points ever scored against the Cowboys in the playoffs ever. Yep. Not just at home, but in the playoffs ever. The first time I've ever really seen Jerry Jones cry. That was also a lot of fun. Because he loves trolling me. He loves trolling me. But you know what I mean? That's the first time I've ever seen that occur. You know what? It was a surprise. It really was a surprise to kind of see how Dallas did not really have the fight in them. And then to go, all right, so you score the touchdown at the half. You get the ball back. You drive down the field, and you kick that field goal. And I'm like, okay, they're doing it. And then to have Green Bay just walk back down the field and score a touchdown, you know what I mean, was kind of interesting to see. It was just like, wow. Like, that was just a wow. Like, how is that even possible? Like, where is Dallas's defense?
Well,
you could tell Parsons was not feeling it yesterday at all. He hit his hand one time. And it looked like he was about to cry. You know what I mean? Like, you could see he was in so much pain just because he hit. Like, I think he hit the helmet, and it wasn't even a hard hit, but he was like, he was just like doubled over in pain and stuff like that. So,
usually we see that. I would not be surprised if that man's hand was fractured. He's just out there playing with the fracture. I would not be surprised one bit.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, the way he kept holding it, that thing has to be messed up.
God, so time to be alive.
But either way, it was a beatdown of epic proportions, and a lot of people that were in Tampa, that are Eagles fans, were watching the game and cheering on You know.
I mean, I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were, and they're going to have their own demons come back in a couple of weeks. So, I mean, trust me, you going to be right here with me, Bubba, because there ain't no way you taking that Eagles team in San Fran. Ain't no way.
No, that.
Hey, listen, the way Green Bay looked against you guys, who knows? They may be able to crush San Francisco. I mean, they just put a whip down on you guys. 47.
Hey, look, you know what I said about that.
That's a big old triple stack. That's a big old triple stack.
Hey, you know what I said about that, man? Hey,
that game could have been so much worse, right? Because he threw 2 picks. 4 of them hit defenders in the hand after that. I mean, this could have been one of the most lopsided games. And then, a lot of their points were garbage time points anyway. Green Bay has backups out there. They're playing prevent defense, essentially. I mean, this thing could have been real ugly.
What do you mean could have been? It was real ugly. What are you talking about?
No. Like, if you look
Were you watching the same game I was watching? There wasn't nothing pretty about that game. It was straight ugly. It's like, you know what it was? It's like you wake up in the morning, and you wake up in the morning, and you see this arm across your chest, and you look over, and you're like, oh, God. What the hell is that thing? I thought it looked like a damn wildebeest. Let me go ahead and get this taxi cab, Uber, or whatever, or speed. That's what it felt like.
So this guy's saying that Jordan Love. Hey, listen, he's going to need to have. So listen, he's going to need to have an epic game to be able to beat San Francisco.
For sure.
Hey, listen, but the one thing I think about San Francisco is that they are rested. They are very well rested. They're a good team, but they're very, very well rested, which means that very well rest could be rust.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're sitting dormant for so long, rust starts to set back in again. So they need to do exactly what they did to Dallas to be able to have any type of thing. They can't settle for 3 points. They got to score the touchdown.
Yes.
And that's what happened. That's what happened in this game. They scored that touchdown right away, held Dallas, and then scored that next touchdown. If they don't score that next touchdown, they get held to even a field goal. It's a whole different game.
But even if they do what they did to Dallas, it's still – see, that's the problem with making these comparisons, because the way Dallas played that game isn't the way San Francisco's going to play that game. I highly doubt for one iota that San Fran's going to go in there and just give them 5 and 10 yard cushions on the wide receivers. I don't see that happening. So even if they do play, it doesn't guarantee them. That's the problem. Dallas made this team look better than what they really are. Come on, let's be honest. The Dallas Cowboys were ass, and we're making it out to be like this is something great. And it's not something great. We just sucked ass. Bad. And when they go up against this 49ers team, they're not going to do that. We've seen the 49ers, for the most part, pretty damn consistent across the board all the way. You think Chase Young is going to do that? You think Bosa's going to do that? And all the company over there? No, hell no. Come on now. Let's keep some of this in perspective. God.
He's a little frustrated today. He is
just
frustrated.
At least you're not mad about it. It's fine.
Man, I tell you, I guess it's just you know, Blow. I have learned through my psychologist. There are 3 emotions. You have anger, you have hate, or you have anger, you have love, and you have indifference. When you get to the point of indifference, it's like fuck it, nobody cares.
All you have is anger. What are you talking about?
I don't care. There's nothing you can say to hurt me anymore because you know why? I don't care. Hate, love,
there's the indifference.
I am numb from the toes to the top of my head. Don't care.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
For you.
I mean, we were done last week, so it didn't matter.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about this? Is there anything else you'd like to say about this game?
Oh, no. I've literally bared my soul,
my
heart.
It was a tough one.
What more can we talk? I don't know, man. Hey, look. At this point now for the Cowboys, Bo, I told you this. I said the only thing that could come good out of a loss on the first round of the Packers is it's going to force, hopefully, it will force Jerry Jones at 81 years of age to say, you know what? I probably don't have much longer on this earth. I would like to at least have one more Super Bowl before I go deep into the ground. Hopefully, something's going to resonate there. He goes in a completely opposite direction than everything he's done before. Now, does that it's going to happen? Probably not, but he needs to. He
Well,
needs
I
to.
mean, like we were talking about offline, this was the one scenario that makes me think they could fire McCarthy, right? Like if they won or if they lost by like a field goal, I could see them, continuing on. But absolutely getting smacked, I think that is enough to potentially move on. And then with Quinn putting out the worst defense imaginable. Like I'm pretty sure you could have Football for Dummies book out there and put a better defense than what we saw. That probably makes it so Quinn isn't the guy either. So who knows who's coming in, but it's got to be somebody that's going to listen to Jerry. So that limits good coaches anyway.
Sweet Jesus. I wonder if anybody has ever had the courage to actually say to Jerry Jones to his face, like in his inner circle.
It's Jimmy Johnson, and he got fired.
Yeah. I don't think anybody. Do you think though, when closed doors, do you think any of that ever gets said to Jerry? Like, bro, you're the only thing keeping this team back.
If there is, it's his kid. It's probably the only one, right?
Right.
Because he's part of the organization. So, he might be like, hey, man, you might be the problem.
Hey, Pags, I know you saw it in the text. I told Bo, man, I can just see the conversation that Steven had with Jerry. Yo, Pops, I love you, but you're fucking this up.
Right? Can you go on a vacation?
I hate to be the one to tell you, man, but you're fired. You're fired. Get the hell out. Collect your shit. Go.
I keep hearing about billionaires going to space. If you could just do that.
Let's go get you on one of them rockets and get you out of here. If I'm Stephen Jones, I'm going straight down to the attorney general, whoever I got to talk to legally, and I'm getting Jerry Jones declared mentally incompetent and taking control of the team. That's what I'm doing. That's your best course of action.
You think it'll work?
No. Jerry has too much money to make that not happen.
Just want to make sure that you were on the same page.
But what I'm saying is that would be probably the only way that you could get Jerry, like you said, from doing Jerry-like things, which is basically, finding another guy. Even if he fires McCarthy, finding another guy like McCarthy to take that spot, which is, just perpetuating more of the same shit.
That's the thing, is you're not going to get a good coach as long as Jerry's going to meddle in everything, right? Like if you could limit that, then it's fine. But as long as Jerry is Jerry, no great coach is going to want to go there. I get that you get the star on the helmet and, it opens up a lot of doors because of the media attention, but you're never going to win. So I guess it depends on if, the better coaches, they want rings.
And that's it. A lot of that though is you're right, because Jerry's putting the wrong people in power, and that's clearly Dan Quinn and that damn defense. I don't know, man. There's so many. Oh God, it's just such. They need to go in there and just clean house on everything that is coaching related, and just rebuild the whole damn thing.
Well, yeah, because it's not like they did anything good on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan was probably eating beignets in the locker room because he ain't calling the plays. So what's Kyle Shanahan what's he really doing over there? Probably not doing the damn thing. Probably over there texting. Probably texting his dad, Mike. Yo, Mike, y'all ever do this kind of shit over in Denver?
Well, you know what? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, this is
I wasn't sure if I was going to do this or not, but I think I am. So this is just for you.
I can't even. Oh, okay.
No, this is priceless. Oh, is there no sound?
Oh, no sounds?
No sound.
Hold on.
Yeah, this is amazing, though. I saw it this morning.
Is this supposed to be like a Stephen A. parody or something on?
No, it's so much worse.
All right,
Oh, okay.
now let me try. Can you hear me now?
It's not playing yet.
No. Yes.
No, it's not. It's not. Oh, here we go. No, no sound. That's too bad. It'll be. It's funny. I'll send it to you later because man.
Oh, there he goes. I thought I heard it. Oh, no.
That hasn't happened for the longest time. So much has happened since you won your last. Jerry Jones might.
Yeah, it's so choppy. It's not coming through, but.
Lost in the wild card. Stood on your star. You haven't won it for the longest time.
All right. Sorry, guys. I was trying to give you the.
It's amazing though. I'm gonna send it to you because it is hilarious.
But you were wrong.
I saw that one where Stephen A. was
Downloaded, but it didn't work.
Stephen A. was laid in bed and it pans over to him and he's like, shh, and he's like trying to laugh and he's like, shh, and I'm like, Hey, but you know what? But like I said, man, we open ourselves up to that because it's just the same. When you repeat the same damn thing for 30 years. I mean, at some point, I don't know how much more they can make fun of it because we've been doing the same damn thing forever. But I guess, no matter how many times we mess up, they still like to clown it. I don't know. It's terrible. I've never wanted Tex Winters or any other Tex Schramm or anybody to ever come back to the Cowboys again. And just God.
Oh, do we have it in the? Looks like we might have it in the.
I just put it in there. I put it into the chat. So if anybody wants to go get it themselves, feel free. Because Robert Williams Films is amazing. He's a Eagles fan, obviously. And he's got amazing content. And when I saw this today, I had to share it to my story. It was a piss. It was a piss. So, shout out to Robert Williams. He is a great dude, and he might even be down here in Tampa. Although that house looked like he was at home. So, go Birds, go Birds. But.
I can't wait till you fuckers lose. God.
I told you I wasn't going to dance. I will dance tomorrow after we beat Tampa Bay.
Listen. I'm going to take my smoke now. Give me all the smoke. I don't care. Just give it all to me. I mean, you can't really make me any worse. But I'm going to have my smoke too eventually. Look, what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. I still stick by my predictions. And Paris, I think you know the same thing. San Francisco, Baltimore, probably most likely will be a Super Bowl. Unless something crazy just happened.
So I mean, I guess that's a pretty good segue because to go to the 8:00 game, which I think was probably the best game of the weekend up to that point.
Sure.
Obviously, the rest of them were blowouts, and there were some surprises on the blowouts. But obviously, let's talk about the 8:00 game, which is probably the most competitive and actually has the most to talk about. The Detroit Lions break a 65-year curse and win a home playoff game. I mean, just being in the playoffs is a big deal for them. Playing at home, even bigger, winning the division monster, and then slaying the dragon that used to be your quarterback.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
It was. And Matt, shout out to Matt Stafford. I thought he handled it pretty classy with Jared Goff at the end of the game. I mean, he did really well. I was impressed with that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine that. Listen, you want your team to win and stuff like that, but he's also got to feel happy for Detroit. I would think.
Oh,
what I mean? It's like
with all the years he's been here. I mean, hell, even his kids were. I thought that was kind of funny when they did whether it was a pregame or whatever, and his kids were like, "Who do we root for? Like, do we root for Detroit or?" And then she's like, "No, we root for Daddy." And I'm like, "But they like you said, they still have that strong Detroit connection."
Yeah, well, and it's not like obviously Detroit boos him when he comes in, which makes total sense. It's the opposing quarterback, right? But it's not like they have any ill will towards Stafford, right? Like he is a beloved guy in Detroit sports. So, yeah, you're going to boo your incoming opposing quarterback because you want to win. But it's not like any of those boos are like they have, distaste for Stafford. I mean, they still love that guy in Detroit. They just didn't want him to win last night because they needed that win more than just about any franchise could need a win.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, and it's good to see Detroit take the next step, and I'm curious to see if they could take one more, regardless of, well, we know who they're going to face. But,
I mean, it's probably not going to be a thing, but it's unfortunate. It'll probably be a divisional round exit, but
yeah, I mean, but I will tell you this: I will be pulling for Detroit. I like a good underdog. I like the storyline of it all. Since my Cowboys aren't there,
I'm an underdog when the Eagles are playing. Then the Eagles are going to be underdogs.
Yeah, the Eagles would be an underdog there, and
yeah, that's true. But I will never in my life ever vote for an Eagle.
In fact, they have a real shot if it's the Eagles because AJ Brown probably still wouldn't be back by then.
Yeah, I don't think AJ is going to be back unless
AJ Brown they said would be back.
Oh, he would be back. Okay.
They said.
I mean, there are some holes in that Detroit defense. So I mean that would be an interesting game.
I mean, the Rams really pushed them to the end. I mean, it came down to the end for that game to get decided. Really. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it's a good thing Detroit was able to stand up where they were because I mean they were able to move the ball down the field without too much problem. They just couldn't finish in the end zone. They kicked a lot of field goals. If any of those happen to be really capitalized on, it's a very different game.
One of the biggest things I took away from that Rams team, that's the first time I've really actually watched Nacua play. And that guy is just an incredibly strong guy, especially after the catch. All those yards he gets after the catch, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he broke records. He broke records for receptions this year and yardage for rookie. And now I think he owns the playoff records for receptions and yardage in a game for a rookie. So, I mean, listen, it was a great game. It went back and forth for a little bit. Obviously, it's like the refs were, maybe helping it stay close a little bit. I felt like maybe there were some weirdo calls that typically Dallas would get. Dallas was getting a couple of those calls at some point yesterday. Really strange calls, actually, is what I thought. It was like that one horse collar tackle that wasn't a horse collar was a big deal and helped you guys actually score those 7 points at the end of the half. So I actually thought maybe you guys would actually make a run at trying to come back a little bit on that. Not to go back to Dallas, but that's kind of.
I got you. Yeah, no problem.
No, I mean, the refs have been a problem all year, though. So you knew they were going to be kind of an issue in the playoffs, too. I mean, they were letting them play to a degree, but then the calls were kind of inconsistent on what they were calling, which has been an issue since week one. It's actually probably my most frustrating part about the refs this year isn't so much what they're calling, it's the way they're calling them. Because there's something that's not a penalty all game, and then as soon as it matters, it's a penalty. Like I don't even care if the reffing crews are necessarily the same, as each other, right? As far as what they're calling or how tight they're calling it, just call it the same all game because then you can.
Oh, you want consistency, do you? Okay.
I do in a huge way, right? Like because then as a player, you know what you can and can't do during the game, right? Like if it's different week to week, okay, sure, some refs are going to see things differently, which cool, whatever. But if it can be the same all game so that you can play to where those are instead of, oh, this is a penalty now, but it's not later or vice versa. It's fine all game, but now it matters. It's kind of like in baseball when the strike zone randomly changes in the eighth. You're just like, there's been a strike zone that's been established all day. You're the same, right? You're the same ump. And now all of a sudden we got an extra like foot and a half to the outside. Like, what are we doing? So that's probably the thing I'm most frustrated about with the NFL refs at this point is it's so inconsistent on the way they're calling the game. And again, I don't care if it's week to week. There's a difference because it's different personnel, but at least during the game, make it the same.
Yeah. I don't think that's asking too much. I think that's obviously been a subject all season. I know a lot of people have had that issue. I've had that issue too. So, and I mean, yeah.
That being said, I will say that it probably only affected it a little bit in terms of keeping it fairly close. Like I thought that there was, like I said, I thought maybe the Rams or not the Rams, Detroit could have scored maybe another touchdown. It would have put it a little bit further out of reach. But ultimately, like I said, I'm very happy for the whole Detroit fan base. I've already spoken to my buddy Ben up in Detroit, and I told him, I said, listen, get your room ready. And if everything goes the way I expect them to tonight, that I'll be up there and hanging out with you on next week, for this game. So the last time I was up in Detroit, it was a great game for us. We scored a tremendous amount of points, and they started to come back towards the end. It was I think the very beginning of the that coach's regime, and he got Jared Goff, and they scored a lot of points. We scored a lot of points ahead of time, and then they came back and made it closer than it really should have been. But it was like a 35 or 42-38 game. It was something very obtusely close and very high scoring. So, and they looked like that for a minute. Like they scored on those first three possessions, 75 yards, 75 yards, 75 yards, went right down the field and scored. And then not to score anymore after that was a big deal for the Rams. The Rams defense started to come into play and really start to, hamper them. But like I said, a couple of weirdo calls. And I tell you, St. Brown is a great wide receiver. He is a great wide receiver.
He is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a great wide receiver all season. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. He's fast. He's shifty. He's quick. I mean, it's just great route running.
Wow.
Actually,
right? Is that stat right?
Yeah,
That's
in the
amazing.
fourth quarter the last Eagles game. That's right. It was 2 years ago. It was opening day. It wasn't opening day. It was Halloween. Actually, it was Halloween.
Okay.
So it was
That's
October
amazing
31st.
stat
I
line.
remember. So interestingly enough, he went very close to that this past game.
Yeah, in the first.
He was 11 for 11 for like 160 some yards and 2 touchdowns at the time. Or maybe it wasn't 3 touchdowns. In the first quarter, he went 11 for 11. I remember them showing that up on the screen. So it's interesting that that was the case, that he kind of replicated that. However, we had scored a lot of points too, so we wound up winning that game. But like I said, it was a good matchup. It's going to be a very raucous crowd next week in Detroit, whoever they play. So they are I as I told my buddy Ben, who is one of the super fans, Detroit Lions super fans, I said at the end of that game, when they were panning to the crowd, you had people crying and celebrating over there. I felt I just had the vision of the ending scene in Caddyshack, where Rodney Dangerfield's on there and he's like, "We're all going to get laid."
And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Everybody's going to go home super excited.
Exactly. I bet you there are going to be kids born in 9 months named Jared and Goff. and probably a select few named Amon-Ra.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
He said, well,
Going to be a lot of Dans, too.
a lot of Mon-Ras. What does that mean?
Yeah,
Sun and fire, I think it means, or sun and wind. That one lady said what his name meant. I think it was like sun and wind or some craziness.
That would be absolutely
It'd be amazing
for them.
actually.
It would be amazing for them. And like even like just to have those two in NFC Championship game. I mean, you never would have thought that at the beginning of the season. There's nobody that's that picked that as the NFC Championship game ever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anybody who did, would make that would be. I want to see that ticket because that ticket's worth like at least a cool $2 million.
Oh, for sure.
So I mean, Detroit. Everybody thought Detroit had a chance, but at the beginning of the season, the Green Bay Packers were like very low on the list. Yeah, they were not expected to make the playoffs even. So, and they've won what now? 7 of their last 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
I think Green Bay was just trying to hope. I think fans were probably hoping that, hey, if we just get at least a 500 season from Jordan Love, that'd be a great first year for him. And the fact that he's gotten as far as he has, yeah. Of course, it didn't help the fact that the Cowboys helped him out a little bit.
So, you know what this makes me think, though? Everybody said, oh, it must be the Cowboys that they're talking about when they changed the colors on the Super Bowl logo. Everybody forgot about Detroit being blue. So,
did they change the colors?
No, they didn't. But
I was going to say, when did that happen? I missed that. I mean, it'd feed into the conspiracy theory for sure.
There was the second logo that was a lot of blue, just a lot of blue.
Okay.
So it would be like, oh, there must be the Cowboys and the Bills going to play again. But nobody remembered that the Lions also have blue. So they really did put together a pretty great game.
Yeah.
The defense definitely came to play. As they were driving down the field, when you saw the game and you saw Wentz starting to warm up a little bit, and you thought maybe Matt Stafford was out. I mean, I go back to the fact that he had his shoulder dislocated when he was a rookie and came back, and they popped back into place, and he went back out. He says, I can throw the ball, and he wins the game against the Browns, and then comes out and says, yeah, it's back out again. I think I didn't think he was going to come out. I thought he would be going back in, and he did, and he still led the team down the field, but he just couldn't finish it off at that point. There was too much pressure. Once they got into the red zone, they really did pressure him, and he just overthrow, which probably had a little bit to do with the fact that his ribs were also really hurt. You know what I mean? I'm sure he took that shot to the ribs, and I'm sure that's what they gave him inside there. They numbed that up quick.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah.
So they probably didn't even take the jersey off. Like, hey, we got a needle long enough. Let's go.
Yep. Rock through the needle. Here we go. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah. No, I mean, he looked banged up after that. It reminded you of that, that rookie comeback. The only downside is in that one, he had to throw 1 touchdown, come out of the game. This one, he still had a quarter and a half to play.
God. Yeah. So, but like I said, great game. Probably the best game of the weekend up to that time.
Sure.
And like I said, very, very happy for Detroit. Very happy. Like, I'm super excited for them. It's been a lot of fun, kind of watching this season happen and talking to the super fans and the fans. Yeah, like I said, once they won the division, which at one point looked a little bit in question, they were still, and it's funny because Detroit fans are not interested in smack talking because they know that something happens and they don't do it. So it was good to hear that they won the division. And then, like I said, when you get a 65-year-old monkey off your back, that's a big, big monkey, that finally came off. So,
but hey, and hats off to Dan Campbell for really going in there and changing everything it is about that team, the culture, the play call, everything. I mean, he just really went in there and revitalized that entire organization. And that's the kind of guy, I hope that the Cowboys can find and bring in, because that's what you need. You need that kind of guy when you're going a certain direction and you want to completely go the opposite. You need a guy like that to come in, and DeMeco Ryans is another kind of guy that's along that same lines. I mean, you need that kind of coach to really right your ship and right it quick.
Well, and Dan Campbell's such a likable guy. Like, you, even if the Lions aren't your team, like, you kind of root for that guy because he's that kind of player's coach. He, was a player before, and I mean, he brings that element to it, and you're just like, oh man, he's such a good guy. Like, you hope he has success. Not against your team so much, but just in general.
Yeah. Well, right, of course.
Fiery, very fiery.
Absolutely.
Just is able to, just get his team riled up and just by his stature in general, just is able to like, all right, guys, we're in the dogfight today, and this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to handle it, and just go for it and get at it. So, and they did. They smacked LA right in the mouth initially. The fact, like I said, the fact that they didn't score any more points really after those first 3 touchdowns is more a testament to LA than it is to Detroit. So, because their game plan didn't change and they kept moving down the field, but they only get 1 field goal after all that really was a big deal. So,
Well, and it's
congratulations, all that.
Because LA actually outgained them by 100 yards. So, I mean, LA was able to move the ball. They just couldn't get in the end zone.
Well, it was good to see those 2 quarterbacks, revitalize their careers. Stafford, obviously, with the Super Bowl, and then Goff, out there in Detroit. Because, there was a while where a lot of people were really killing Goff out there for a while until he went out to Detroit and then changed the narrative for him, So it's good to see people revitalize their careers and get back on track. I mean, it's a lot of feel-good stuff over there.
Yeah.
It actually probably brings it back to, obviously you could say, looking back at the trade now between those 2, because I think it was that and they got a first-round pick, which wound up being Hutchinson, was it not?
Yeah,
no, it was an early pick. Was that an early pick? That was an early pick. So
I know didn't they get Amon Ra out of that deal too? I thought he was part of that, one of the draft picks that came out of that Stafford deal.
He might have. That might have. So I mean, ultimately, it starts to even the playing field out because the Rams got a Super Bowl from it.
Yeah.
And now Detroit's finally got their first playoff win because of it. So
which is something Stafford was never able to do.
Right. That was definitely a win-win situation.
Well, I know last night they were talking about, and I remember the Detroit Lions had 3 starters on their team that came from that Matt Stafford trade via picks. So, yeah, they really took what they got from the Stafford deal and really turned it into quite a bit.
There you go. From Stat Guy of Unscripted. Says, hey, listen, you look at the 2 of them, they are the exact same quarterback almost. Except that, obviously Stafford has been hurt a little bit. So, but Goff has been doing his thing. And listen, everybody forgets that Goff was in a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And they blamed him for that loss. Truth of the matter was it wasn't him that lost that game. It was McVay. So I remember watching that, after the Super Bowl, and you saw the camera of McVay and Belichick talking, and you could tell right then and there that McVay was going to lose that game. He was just slobbing that knob of Bill Belichick,
right?
And you could just tell he was in too much in awe and overcoached himself in that game. And that's why there was no touchdowns in that game. I mean, there was a touchdown, but it was no touchdown passes. It was,
Here you go. Here's some crazy stats for you. This is courtesy of CBS Sports. Since the 21 trade, Jared Goff versus Stafford, both have 24 wins. Both have a completion percentage of 66%. Pass touchdowns for Goff, 78, Stafford, 75. Both have 41 turnovers and a passer rating of 96.5 for Goff, 96.8 for Stafford. So they are the identical QB.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like, I knew it was close, but I mean, those numbers are nuts.
Yep, that's exactly it. That's what. Yeah, Dustin, you said it first. He just confirmed it all. So we appreciate you coming out and giving us those types of statistics. Hey, hey, Dustin, while you're there, what was the statistic that Dallas was going to come out and just poop the bed?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah, I don't think you got to look at stats for that. That's one of the only 3 digits you can think of.
Well, let me help you out. It's going to be the same stat that you pooped the bed with. It'll be identical.
but maybe not this week. You thought for sure that you were going to beat the Packers. You thought for sure you were going to beat the Packers.
If you lose tonight.
Actually, if we lose tonight, we'll still do okay because the Cal Turds also lost, and they were out of the playoffs before we were.
No, that's fine. Don't worry. They're going to change the position on the couch, any.
I mean, true.
No.
89% chance.
No. Don't worry. I just didn't know what kind of popcorn you like. Do you like caramel or do you like the regular? Or you look like a no calories kind of guy.
No, I definitely go calories, so it's okay. But listen, don't warm it up. Don't warm it up yet because you never know what's about to occur. So we may look like the Packers and come out and just smoke Tampa Bay, and then you guys will be like, damn, I got to listen to Eagles fans all the time talking about how they went further in the playoffs again this year. We went further in the playoffs.
Christmas, Pags came to me. Hey, where is my seat?
Yeah,
right
so
next
I
to
agree.
me there. You're already there. Back on the couch. Because that was the last game you guys get to play.
Oh, man. Fun. Here we go.
I realize they can't get show from coast to coast to coast to couch.
So you guys can be on either side, weighing down that couch. I'm going to take my time getting there.
Yeah,
I may get there, but I'm going to take my time.
I like how he's so optimistic. I may get there.
Well, I mean, you have to be optimistic. You're still in it. It's later tonight. We'll see if he's still optimistic.
Man, I'm telling you. Oh, I'm telling you. You Melanie, we got to go to church. Got to go there now. I got to do some praying.
There's no amount of church is going to help you, kid.
Melanie, the meatloaf.
The Lord is mighty. He is mighty. He can handle everything.
And he is clearly not a Cowboys fan.
See, now the bandwagon will switch back up. He'll be like, hey, you know what? Let's go back to my hometown team. Since they were able to look like a real team instead of a real team instead of my actual bandwagon team.
You can't say that. No bandwagon ever. Look, I'm here every day. I take the abuse. You don't take abuse like this and say you're a bandwagon. That just doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That makes sense.
I'll give you a little bit of a pass there.
That doesn't make sense.
It does. It does make sense. You know, because you were dropped on your head, and you know that's what made you a Cowboys fan. I understand. You know, it's a rating. It's a rating. You have a 1-star rating.
Pretty much. And I'm gonna ride that 1 star. We'll get that there eventually.
You know what is impressive is the Packers have more wins in AT&T Stadium in the playoffs than the Cowboys do.
What's the point?
There you go.
What's the point?
It means
that doesn't hurt me, man. I know this damn point is past comment.
Aaron Rodgers would have said, "We own this place. I own this place." Green Bay can say that they own this place. So,
I mean, it used to bother me, but then not anymore.
It's all right.
Pags, I'm in the land of indifference. I just roll with it.
After 30 years, it doesn't bother you anymore. That makes sense.
It's 30 damn years.
That's okay. And counting, by the way. And counting.
Well, it is. You're right. Hey, listen, it is counting.
Well, next year's their year.
Hey, you know what, though? Hey, you know what? Hey, Pags, before you got that one with Foles, how many years did you guys go between championships? I mean, I'm just trying to tell you, all of our franchises at some point in time have gone through years of crap. God knows the Seahawks have. Until Pete Carroll came into life, you guys were the laughing stock of the world. You were the sea chickens for a reason.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just saying every franchise has gone through it. Every franchise has. And now Pags, you think Pags he's going to be able to for a while. Try to be Pags.
Oh yeah.
20 years from now, I'll be. Hey,
I remember as a kid.
I'll be 70-something years old. I'll be living with Pags' old ass. Pags, man.
Slow down when he's trying to talk.
I remember as a kid, 92, Tom Flores is our coach, and we go 2-14. Like absolutely smoked all year. So I mean, yes, I definitely get it.
I mean, the damn movie Invincible was built around that shit.
We were so focused on the number 12 that we've gone 1 and 2 in Super Bowls. It's some bullshit.
Now, I will say this though. Having said all that, I mean, it is time for the Cowboys to right the damn ship. I mean, how much longer do we really honestly need to keep going down this damn path? And I think we all know the answer. We've said it a million times. Is Jerry, right? I mean, once we can get a damn ownership group that will allow change to occur, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, we got lucky. I mean, really, Jerry got lucky. He got lucky in 2 ways. He got lucky, number one, he got Jimmy, and then Jimmy really hooked him up with that Herschel Walker trade. Those were the 2 biggest things in Cowboy history that happened that really transformed it. Had that trade not happened, honestly, I mean, as good as Jimmy Johnson really is, if that Herschel Walker trade didn't go through, I don't know how much he would have even done with the Cowboys, honestly, because that really was a lot of star players came out of that trade.
Well, that Herschel Walker trade is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was obviously it was a big deal. You know what I mean? And you got to think about it for a lot of different reasons. You think about, you know, Jimmy Johnson, when he left Miami, he was married. He had a wife. And, you know, it's funny because they obviously you don't ever talk about somebody's personal life. But he said, hey, honey, I just got hired in Dallas to be the Cowboys head coach. She goes, oh, are we moving? He's like, no, you get to stay here. I'm leaving you. I'm taking the job and running. And he divorced her. He left her behind. He left her and said, hey, I'm taking this job. I can't have you as a distraction. That's a real thing. That is an absolute real thing. So, I mean, it's interesting, you know, like, because ultimately there are always, I mean, we're human beings. So there's always different things that are going to get in the way of our goals. And he took that to the nth degree there and says, you know what? You know, I need my full attention, which means bye.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
That is absolutely crazy. I mean, seriously, I didn't even know that. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I had heard that a long time ago. You know, just that. I mean, he was like, you know what? God, I want to be fully committed to this, and that means I can't be fully committed to our relationship anymore. You know, and
yeah, he didn't give her the opportunity to be supportive. He just said flat out, "Damn,
see ya."
Yeah,
peace out.
She probably said, "Okay, well, just give me a little bit of that money, and you know, whatever."
Oh, I'm sure that they listen.
Yeah,
that's like you know, hiring a lady of the night. You ain't paying for the service; you're paying for her to go away.
Pretty much. No, you're right. That's true. Wish I'd have done that about the wildebeest, but yeah.
Oh man. So does that mean she left him? She's like, no way, I'm a Cowboys fan.
That could have been. She's like, that team sucks. You know, and I bet after they fire your ass, they won't win another championship for 30-some years.
And that's what they did, though, because they won one with Barry Switzer. But yeah,
man,
but after Barry Switzer, they'll never win another one.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Barry Switzer, it was all still Jimmy Johnson's team.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah,
of course it was.
Yeah, he just all he did was just take the team and says, "Yeah, I can do it."
Well, he did have to at least play call it. I mean, there was a little bit of Barry in there, but when you got the star players all in the key positions, you know, you already got the machine. You just got to make sure that machine, you know, stays oiled up and keeps rolling. That's it. That's what he did.
You know what I think of Barry? You know what I think of Barry Switzer? I think of that 4th and 1, where we stopped you and then we stopped you again. The phantom timeout.
Yeah.
He stopped him again. That's when you knew you weren't going back there again. And then who was next? Wayne Kiffin? Was that the little short punch?
Oh, you mean the guy that took over coaching after he left? Are you talking about the Cowboys? No, I think it was who was that dude, man? Fuck, it's
the
been
little
so damn
punch
long.
ball with the great curly hair. Or maybe he was blonde, who knows?
No, it was Campo. I thought Dave
Dave.
Campo had the reins for a while. And then after Campo left, it was it Biles and Browse or whatever his name was. I mean, and then Wade Phillips had it for a long time. Jason had it for a long time. But yeah, I mean, the head coaches haven't been as much as the amount of quarterbacks we've gone through. I mean, from Quincy Carter to Drew Henson to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, they could slide up in there until they got to
So
Romo.
when do you think they will announce if McCarthy is actually fired?
I think it's going to be the next day or two. I don't think it's going to take long. I don't think Jerry's going to take too long.
Yeah,
I think he gives it a day or two, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's going on right now, to be honest with you.
It could be. They didn't even have a flight to worry about.
I mean, they really didn't. I mean,
They just walked down the concourse. You know what? I think you're done. See you later.
if I'm Jerry, I would have said, have somebody outside the Cowboys locker room to hand McCarthy all his shit, take all of his credentials, and show him to the exit, please. Tell him his final pay will be, direct deposited. Don't even worry about it.
I just like
in the mail.
I like the question in the comment here. Favorites for the Cowboys if McCarthy gets fired. I threw down Josh McDaniels. That seems like a good fit.
I'm not even going to entertain that comment. I don't want to speak anything on this show that could possibly come to fruition. I'm not going to do it. Stay clear of that one. God.
Talk about an extra dumpster fire right there.
Man, if that happened, I would literally put a paper bag over my head for the rest of the time and just say, this is the guy formerly known as McLovin.
I mean, that's where you become a Texans fan, I believe.
No, I'm going to ride the Cowboy bandwagon until I'm dead. I'm just going to put a paper bag over my head and just say it's McLovin.
Yeah, you could be just like they did in New Orleans.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the New Orleans thing that started that whole thing. I remember that.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Exile.
So listen, we're at the top of the hour. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break for a few minutes, and then we'll be back after our station identification to talk about the other two playoff games that occurred on Saturday, where one was very cold and one just was chilly for one of the teams. So let's talk about that right when we come back. So stay tuned.
Hang out in front of the mini mart, ask for a change.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you. Your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or a Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And welcome back to the second hour of Coast to Coast with myself, Pags, Bo in the middle, and McLovin on the end. As I said before, there were a couple of other games that happened this weekend. Starting on Saturday was game number one. Quite possibly the biggest surprise. Well, no, not the biggest surprise because that was the Cowboys getting their butts handed to them. But the second biggest surprise being the Cleveland Browns having their butts handed to them. Yeah. Against the Houston Texans. And it really was a surprise. I mean, obviously the Texans came out firing on all cylinders, and they literally just took that game right to Cleveland. It's interesting that the first drive for every team that's won in the playoffs ended in points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting to think that was the case.
It's funny because I had the Texans winning this game because I figured Flacco would turn back into a pumpkin, but I did not think they were going to just absolutely rout the Browns. Like that was amazing.
I think, like you said, the offense had a really good game plan. Stroud obviously did not disappoint. I think he, if nothing else, really did confirm in my mind that, he should be the NFL MVP. The guy's just, no turnovers. What do you have, like 276, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, whatever it was. I mean, stepping in. And I'm curious. It makes me want to now even see what he does next week in the playoffs. If he can caveat that with another amazing performance like that. It's amazing.
I mean, what's the highest rating you can get as a quarterback? 158.3. I think that's what it is. That's the highest that quarterback rating we get to. And he was a 157.2.
Yeah.
So he was 16 for 21 for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, and I believe he did have some rushing yards too. No, only 1 rushing yard, so it wasn't like that. It was a big deal.
It's just the way he played the game. It's the way he found the receivers. It's the way he got everybody involved. I mean, the one where he threw, a 76-yard bomb, it was like to his third read. It wasn't even the first or second read. It was like the third read in the progression. It's just he really has showed a level of maturity, reading the offense, reading the defense. Very Burrow-esque for what Burrow did. When he had his first full season. I'm curious to see if he can repeat what Burrow did and maybe even go farther.
Well, I thought that Cleveland would actually keep it somewhat close. I mean, it was at one point 14-10. Obviously they were ahead in that game, and then next thing you know, touchdown. It was just the onslaught was on, and obviously Flacco was the biggest culprit there. Back-to-back drives at the end of the third quarter. Because the defense was doing their job. Take away 14 points in this game, obviously, it's still 31-14.
Right.
You start to give up after that. It starts to become more of an issue because it's ultimately you got the 14. It's 14-10 after Hunt scores that touchdown at the beginning of the second quarter. Not 10 seconds later, it's a 76 yards touchdown. So they score that quick. And then at the end of the half, score a touchdown. Then, like I said, pick six. that last touchdown was just kind of more icing on the cake. Like, hey, yeah, we got you now. You're done. But the big play is what winds up beating up Cleveland, which was a surprise. Flacco is 34 for 46 for 307 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks.
Yeah, that's another one where he could have had a couple more. He absolutely could have had a couple more in that one.
Yeah, they were sitting on him a little bit. So, hey, it's part of what happened. Big surprise though, very big surprise. I did not think that the Texans were going to be all of that, but yeah, they are all of that. So, now they're going to be. They could wind up going to Baltimore, or they could wind up going to Buffalo, depending on who wins this game.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I suspect that they're going to go to Buffalo. But that was, they did. Yeah, it's one thing playing at home. It's another thing playing on the road. I'd like to see if they can still do that same thing on the road that they have this week. But very impressive. It was an impressive win.
Yeah, I just thought we talk about obviously all the offense and things like that, but I thought that Texas defense holding Cleveland's run game to 2.8 yards per carry, 20 and 56 total. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, Cleveland has a fairly decent run game with Ford and Kareem Hunt. And the fact that they were only giving up 2.1 yards per carry, that's why I really think that stat specifically is really going to come in handy when they get to the next level. Can they keep that run game under control and make the other team one-dimensional? I mean, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Well, especially against Lamar Jackson if they wind up playing him.
Oh God, yes.
Because you don't really have to worry about the running game as much with Buffalo than you would with Lamar Jackson.
I mean, you just have to worry about Josh Allen running. Like that's the part of the run game you have to worry about.
And I think that's where Houston has to do a really good job spying Lamar Jackson, seeing what he's doing. Because let's be honest, Gus Edwards, not so much the run game. It really truly does go through Lamar Jackson and what he does. So if you're spying him and if your cornerbacks are really on their A game, you could really neutralize Jackson.
Yeah, but who are you using as your spy? Because
that's a good damn question.
Most linebackers aren't going to keep up with Lamar.
No, I would have to imagine it'd have to be a safety that would
or a nickel or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying he's spying everyone, but you definitely you're going to use that situationally. But if you can keep Lamar, the main focus is if you can keep Lamar contained, and it's a hard thing to say, but if you can do that. That's really the focus. That's the straw on the camel's back, right? With Baltimore is Lamar, and everything goes through Lamar. He's their leading rusher, he's their passer. So you really have to neutralize him, and that can come from disrupting, disguising your coverages, disguising your play calling, keeping them off balance. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, right? And DeMeco is a defensive-minded guy, so you got to imagine he's going to have something in there.
I mean, you basically have to carry that same kind of game plan against the Bills, right?
Yes, sir.
Josh Allen.
That's 100%. That's 100%.
Even though they play a little bit differently, your focus is kind of similar.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Because he's their leading rusher, which is kind of weird. I mean, exactly. James Cook is a good running guy, but
I mean, Josh Allen's just such a big human that.
He is. I mean, he's that Culpepper, Roethlisberger kind of guy, know?
Well, I listen, I think that we're going to find out what's going to happen today. Obviously, it's still cold in Buffalo, but it's not as much snow. They're talking about how the fans are probably going to have to sit on piles of snow.
Yeah, they said the field is clear, but there's fans of snow.
Yep. Can't get the seats. Let there be. The aisles will be clear, so you can get in.
But you're going to be sitting on snow, which means that there's going to be a lot of snowballs being thrown.
Absolutely. I'll tell you right now, they better let me bring my damn tarp if I'm coming to that game.
See, I don't understand why they just don't get like they should get like a flamethrower or something and just try to melt that.
You know, why not? Because correct me if I'm wrong. And that stuff, it's just all what metal and concrete, right?
I mean, the seats might light on fire, but no big deal.
You know, hey, take one for the team. What kind of fan are you?
Hey, it's the plastic seats.
Plastic.
Hey, you gotta do like we did back in the old school days when we went to high school games and didn't have the backrest. You just come in there with your little seat. You know, your little flip up little seat. There's no legs. It's just a little flip seat. And you set that. Hey, it's simple. Put a little tarp down. Put your seat on the tarp. Call it and put a whole bunch of other things in your hands to keep you warm, and you're good. You're good. Come on. What are you doing?
All I know is that
you know who was born in the 70s, because Pags knows damn good well what I'm talking about. 'Cause I'm pretty sure he still has his Eagles win. But yeah, that's what we did back in the 70s. Yeah, sure did.
No, that concession line is going to be long though, because people are.
Oh hell yeah, Jesus! Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess you must have a lot of money for you to concession like this. If you go to the Texans or even down, they are expensive. Them beers.
They are here in Seattle too.
Yeah.
You're paying $12 for a beer.
Jeez, hey, listen, I'm the kind of guy. I'm gonna go to the parking lot and I'm gonna pregame my ass off, and then I'll go inside.
Yeah, I think it'll be longer than normal just because they'll be so cold in them seats that they're gonna be like, you know what? Even though I'm probably gonna have to stand here for 45 minutes to get a beer, that's okay.
Yeah,
you know what it will be.
That was the thing. Like even when I lived in Green Bay or I lived in Wisconsin for a little while. And I can't tell you how many Brewers games and Packers games we went to. I never made it in the stadium. It was just straight tailgating the whole time.
Yeah.
So here's a little thing. There's a little thing real fast while I have his thing up there. So Captain Jack lives in Tampa Bay, and he's a Raiders fan.
Okay.
And he wears Raiders gear. He's going to come in his a little bit of his Raiders gear to a Buccaneers game and sit with me today.
That's awesome.
In the front row. So I'm gonna be sitting next to a Raiders fan for an Eagles Bucks game, which is awesome. So
that won't be hard to find.
Yeah,
I guess
right up in the front.
Pirates, right? Pirates or pirates.
That's what I said. I said I got to get you a towel that you could have on there. So when they raise the flags, we could raise up a green flag for the Eagles. So
I'd have me a long lighter and light that fucker on fire.
Yeah, you get kicked out before it even starts.
Hey, you know what? Hey, but you know what, Bo? It'd be well worth it.
Hey, you know what? Get back on the couch. Get back on the couch where you belong there, McLovin.
Hey,
get back on the
couch. I'm going to get kicked out of that overpriced beer. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to talk to some tailgaters. I'm going to slip them a 20 and drink a case. Have a nice day.
Good luck with that.
Yep.
But anyways, and they're talking about how it's $15 at Lambeau for a beer. First off, I can't stand Lambeau. I was there. I understand the history. We took a picture in front of the Lombardi statue and stuff like that, or the Lambeau statue, whatever his name is, Vince Lombardi. But I can't stand that stadium. First off, I don't like sitting on bleachers. And, of course, all the seats on those bleachers are big enough for somebody who's like a 32 waist.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, I ain't a 32 waist. I'm a little bigger than a 32 waist. And the guys that I normally go with are 40, 42, 44 waist.
Yeah.
So that's it's a little too small. I know when we went there, we were on like the 35-yard line, 40-yard line. When they got past midfield, we had to stand up, pivot to the opposite side of the field, and then sit back down again because we couldn't actually move freely.
Well, I think those bleachers have been around since what, the 60s, 50s, 40s, God knows, whatever.
Right.
It was built.
You know what? The town owns the team. Time for an upgrade there, town.
It really is, honestly. It really is time for a turnaround. Well, hell, they just did a big renovation at Lambeau not long ago. You think they were at all these stadiums? You think they would have done more upgrades?
Yeah.
So there you go. And this is for Dustin right there, giving us all the stuff. Not only that, but I will tell you another thing Green Bay does, obviously, is they gouge you on hotels. You are getting
Oh, that's a
gouged
whole other
to
issue.
the
Yeah.
nth degree. It's to stay in a room that's got like just about, that they finally were able to maybe just get rid of some of the cockroaches and stuff like that. You wind up having to pay like $350 to $400 a night. You know what I mean?
And you
It's
still got to
like
bring a black
they
light in to
are.
make sure that there's no chemicals on the bed.
Yeah, exactly. They're like sketch. They're like sketch a little bit. It's like $400 a night. It's ridiculous. But I understand you're out in the middle of nowhere. They're going to gouge you on those tickets and on those everything. So everything that you do costs a lot of money out there. There we go. So there he goes. He's going to be waving a Philly towel. So there you go.
Yeah, no. So
His
looking
Raiders.
at that one, it's about $250 for a ticket here in Seattle. $250 to $350 is pretty common. It's $100 to park at the stadium.
God.
Yeah. So I mean, like if you and your wife go, it's $1,000 3-hour event, right? So you have to pre-fuck because you have to justify in your mind that I'm going to drop a G for 3 hours. But
Well, at least the bedroom time is free. Damn.
Maybe for you right now in Houston. So, and Dustin lives like 25 minutes from Lambeau. So it does. It's a shame. And you know what? See, but that's because you must not be in Green Bay then, because you should be. If you're an owner, you should just get tickets. Like I am with
That's
the
right.
owner suites.
That's right.
I agree with that. I mean, honestly. Oh, well.
So there you go. And then of course we have Captain Jack taking
course.
shots at you.
Of course.
Oh, wow. Well,
Bring the heat. Bring the heat. I actually miss the old AFC West games. I always loved the Raiders Seahawks rivalry. Actually, one of my favorite things was I went to a game and we lost. We lost to the Raiders. They did some work, and there's this just divey restaurant downtown Seattle called the Hurricane, right?
Right.
And it's as terrible as the name would suggest. So I'm in there, and a bunch of the Raiders end up coming in, right? And I'm in there with Hawks gear, and they come in, and me being me, I'm kind of talking shit to them a little bit as they're coming through, and they end up sitting next to me, and we end up, chatting for about 45 minutes. They ended up buying my dinner, which was awesome. But it was a super enjoyable experience because they just thought it was hilarious that I was sitting there talking. And so, yeah, we ended up going back and forth for like 45 minutes or so. And then, they paid for my meal, and, I went on my way, but it was a fun experience. So shout out to the Raiders. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, I guess if they're buying you a meal, that would be a cool thing. Good people.
It was. And they had fun with the fact that I was just there talking. So.
And she was hot. There you go. He was dancing with a Seahawks fan, and she was hot.
I mean,
Captain likes the pretty girls. So nothing's wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. But
the only cool thing.
That all being said.
Hey, listen, in today's day and age, as long as you don't have an Adam's apple, you're good.
Priceless.
That being said, so going to the last game that happened on Saturday nights, another little bit of a surprise here. The Dolphins, I mean, I guess it came down to the fact that the only guy who was really hot in that whole stadium was the guy without a shirt. There was a couple guys with no shirt on.
Yeah, I don't know how you're doing that. I saw that. I can't imagine that craziness.
Yeah.
They must have had a crap ton of Vaseline on. That's all I know.
All of it. Yeah, just cake.
Like literally like the whole can.
Maybe. I'm sure they had something because when it's that cold, your skin does start to freeze. So I'm not.
This is more or less how I thought this game was going to go, though. Like I really didn't think Miami had much of a shot here, just because it was cold, and with beat up receivers and relying on them being able to throw this absolutely frozen football. I just really didn't think they were going to be much of a factor in this game. But
Well, I thought it was interesting too when Mahomes' helmet, got broke. It didn't look like that vicious of a hit, but like they were saying, I guess because of the cold weather and plastic, I'm sure it makes it a little bit more brittle than what it would, I guess, normally be, right? Because it took a nice little chunk off the front.
yeah, it blew a section out. It was amazing.
So I spoke to Hollis Thomas. Obviously, I do a lot of travel with him, and he had told me about a time where it was so cold at one point that somebody's helmet broke in half off of his head, so that the temperature does affect these helmets in a pretty good way. And he actually had one play with the helmet broken. Yeah, and then they realized it's like.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? What is that on this thing? And then they're like, oh, yeah, it's need a new helmet.
I mean, on the plus side, at least quarterbacks always have that second helmet that has another set of comms, right, in case one of them goes down. So at least he had a spare helmet immediately available.
Man, but they had to do a whole lot of stuff to that second helmet. They were taking bits and pieces out of it to make it comfortable for him to
Well,
wear.
sure, it doesn't fit quite right, but, I mean, at least it
But,
was...
isn't it something, though, that the equipment guys should, like, yo, Pat, I know that's your main helmet, but I need you to really wear the second helmet, too. You get it the way you want it. That way, when things come in and out, or something happens, you're ready to go. Because it took him a little while to get good to go. You would think that would just be something they'd have already worked out.
So Robert's asking, isn't the field heated? So truth of the matter is that the field itself is not heated per se. When they go to take a temperature, the reason why they have a tarp over it and they blow heaters underneath of it, so it's actually heated to be able to take a reading. The reading's got to be I heard this, it's got to be between like 60 and 68 degrees, like 58 and 68 degrees when they take the reading. After they take the reading, that is exactly when they can start to pull off the tarps and such like that. So beforehand, they had tarps on the field. Before anybody comes out to even start to practice or anything, I think it's like just that day at some point, they come and they take a temperature reading. Every field has got to be measured at somewhere between 58 and 68 degrees. So, and then they can go back and then they can take the tarp off and then it's good to go from there. So, that being said, when it's that cold and you have it heated up, it actually freezes faster.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, yeah. Because now you got condensation and everything else that's all in there.
Right. So Dustin is like talking about how it's been a sheet of ice before. Yeah, they can't do anything about it during the game. But when they take the temperature reading, every field has got to be, it's actually an NFL rule, or else that team could forfeit. Now, so that's part of what occurs. I mean, ultimately, they were able to do that, and then not
go out there and enjoy for 5 minutes, and then you're back to where it was before. So it is what it is. Which I'm okay with that. Hell with it. Football is meant to be played in rough conditions. That's why it's football.
That's right.
Otherwise it'd be, I don't know, dodgeball or something. I don't know.
Well, no, then it becomes baseball, right? It's going to rain. You're going to
It'd be like wiffle ball or something. I don't know. Something that nobody really cares about. Pickleball, whatever.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive, man.
He's talking about this a little bit. I don't know enough about it, and it may be the reason why they made the rule in the first place. So I don't know how long ago that was, but it could very well possibly. I mean, listen, right now, everywhere in the country, minus where I'm at, is chilly. It's a little cold. You know what I mean?
It's 28 in Houston, so. Yeah.
Is it 28?
Yeah, it's 28 in Houston. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what temperature is. I don't know what the feel like is, but it's 28 on the thing.
And right now here it is 66 degrees.
It is
in Tampa.
actually it's 28 here right now as well.
How the hell is Philly? Are you in? You're in Tampa right now, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. You're in Florida. Florida does stay rather warm, so I guess you're good to go.
Yeah, it's actually it's not supposed to get down to 40 in the 40s until Tuesday night late.
Are they
So
still predicting all that
Wednesday-
rain? Are they still predicting all the rain there?
So it looks to me that the rain is going to stop around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then there shouldn't be any more rain.
Oh, okay.
But we'll
so,
see.
so it's going to stop just before game time?
Just before game time.
Oh. Okay.
So, anyways, Chiefs beat the Dolphins 26-7. Stays under, of course, as we thought it would be because it was going to be too freaking cold. Actually, I kind of thought that the Dolphins would show up a little bit better than they did. They didn't, and that's that.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's next
And
level.
it'll.
I thought they were going to show up. They didn't. Moving on.
You can see it really affected. Tua was not playing well at all. All of his balls were way off target. I mean, he had like no accuracy for any of it. Whether it was a screen pass or not, he was still, throwing left, right, or over the guy. Just could not find a target to save his life. And I guess he had gloves on both hands, and maybe that's what was affecting him. I don't know, but he could not. He was just virtually ineffective at all.
They should have just deflated some footballs. He wouldn't get in trouble for it till next year anyway.
Pretty much. Just take a page out of the old Tom Brady book and let's go.
And you know what? Here's another thing that I'm trying to figure out because it's been a while since I've remembered this occurring. When was the last time that all four division winners made it past the wild card round?
I don't know. I feel like
Now, I guess it probably happened easier. Yeah, I'm sure it happened easier when the first two teams had a bye, when the first and second seed had a bye. But even then, I don't remember a lot of times where all four teams held serve.
Yeah,
and that's what you may wind up having. The Chiefs
usually had a wild card sneak in.
Yes. So, but the Chiefs potentially, with Buffalo winning, will have to go on the road, and it would be the first road playoff game for the Chiefs in Patrick Mahomes' history. Interesting.
It is.
He said it happened in 2020. 2020, I don't count 2020 because of the
bubble action.
Yeah, that was weird. It was the whole COVID thing. But it may have occurred. It may have occurred. It seems like it was a long time ago that there has been. So, and Captain Jack saying that the rain is coming between 7 and 8, but it's supposed to be dry for the game. So I will not look like the Tin Man by the end of the game, which is I'm happy about. Because if that's the case, I tell you something about the silver makeup. If it gets in my eyes, it looks like I have silver eyeliner on. I can't get it off. It takes 2 days to get it off.
Oh.
So, yeah, those.
It's a price of fame tags. I don't want to hear it. Man up, guy.
So what you're saying
don't worry.
is
I would still be here tomorrow. I would still be here tomorrow.
So if it does rain,
You got a little silver makeup on. That's all. No big deal.
You're gonna look like a hot mess on camera tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, maybe I may have to put on dark eyeliner just so that it hides. So, but anyways, tonight we have at now 4:30.
Yep.
The Bills taking on the Steelers.
God, I can't wait for that game. I do. I want to see if that run game of Pittsburgh can actually do what New England did last go around. I mean, literally, I really want to see if that can happen.
Yeah, I still don't think that's going to be the thing. I still think it's going to be the Bills here.
I mean, it probably will be. It probably will be.
And it has nothing to do with their running game. It has everything to do with the lack of players that are still going to be there for the Steelers. Because, I mean, it's hard to play in the snow anyway, right? If you get a good cut, it's hard for a defense to match that, right? Like on the defensive side, if you stick with them on the one movement, if they get a good cut because they know where they're going, it's hard to get that footing and stay with them. So I give the edge to the Bills here, but again, mostly because of the injuries they have on defense for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, like I said, that's the extra day does not help TJ Watt to come back or anything like that. Exactly. So it doesn't matter. I think that you're correct. The Bills are going to kind of just put a whopping on the Steelers, and then you have to worry about okay, is that going to really be the end of Tomlin in Pittsburgh, and if it is the end of Tomlin in Pittsburgh, is it possible Jerry Jones says, you know what, maybe I should give him a call, see if we could trade for him or something?
Yes.
Because
would you do that? Like if you were Tomlin, would you do that? I think you go to the booth. I think you.
Hey, Bo, stop putting that shit into existence. Just be quiet.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
yes, Tomlin, please come. Yes,
there are less attractive,
yes,
coaching jobs like the Panthers, but like that's kind of it.
But wait a minute, though. That's messed up, Bo. I saw that. That's messed up. You know what, man? I don't like you anymore. But no, seriously though, hey, and I get what you're saying, because do you really want to go in there and deal with Jerry, things like that?
Yeah,
I hope he does. Because, God,
I can't imagine you would for Tomlin, because he can do whatever he wants, right?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, and if he's leaving, it's because he wants to leave, right?
Right.
I seriously doubt they're firing him. So if he wants to leave, I seriously doubt he's going to go and be like, hey, let me go deal with an owner that's just going to be like a problem all the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, then again, if he has trades, if they're talking about really seriously trading, if I'm him, I'm talking to Jerry first and be like, look, man, they're talking about this trade, this, that, and the other. I got to tell you, if I come to this situation, this is what I expect. You got to imagine, there are those conversations that are out there. He ain't just going to that team thinking that that's just going to be the way that it is. And that's where Jerry's going to have to say, I'm 81 years old. Can I suck that up and deal with it? And I hope he can. I'm not putting my money on it. But.
And the track record wouldn't show that.
Well, no, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You want to know how I know that for certain? When they bring out the flags, when they bring out all the flags on the Ring of Honor for all those guys and stuff like that, you look at Jerry Jones's flag. It's the biggest dick in the sky.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what? He didn't make this franchise. He got it 3 Super Bowls, and that's okay. He did that in his first 7 years? And then so after that, he's been pooping the bed. So the deal he made with the devil, they're like, hey, just give me 3 and we'll figure it out from there. After that, I could go 50 years without winning a championship. Guess what?
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Jerry Jones, if he was a player, he would have been that guy that after every play celebrates like this, pointing to the name on the back of his jersey. Like, he doesn't care about what's on the front. It's this all the time.
I mean, it's true.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't agree. I mean, it's always ego first, right?
For sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Eagles first.
No.
That's exactly what I heard. Eagles first.
Probably. I mean, shit, I hate it. Well, I mean, every time you're screwing your own franchise over, I mean, I guess it's kind of what you're saying to the world, right? So, I mean, because he's obviously, like you said, he's not looking out for the best interest of the franchise. I mean, he is looking for the franchise, but he's not looking out for the best because his jerseys are making money, right? I mean, the stuff he's doing is making money, but he's not looking out for he's not looking out for the best interest of the fans that are supporting him.
the thing that's funny is I can actually give Jerry some credit, and they do a decent job drafting. Like, you guys end up with talent. What he needs to do is then, like, go to the Bahamas or something.
Yeah.
And let your coaches coach. Because if they could ever get the talent to work together well on the field, it'd be amazing. But when you look at the rosters, I mean, I get why you guys are always like, it's our year. Because on paper, you guys should be good. And then, it falls apart. But
that's a little bit of breaking news, I guess. Not that I'm surprised about that. I wouldn't be surprised. Deion Sanders going to the NFL.
That would be a trip. That personality clash could be amazing.
And you know what? You're right. Let me ask you this, guys. Look, like I said, Jerry's not. He's still mortal. There is a time when he will no longer be on the face of the earth. God will call his butt home and probably, okay, well, Satan, here you go. You can have this one. It's a rotten egg. But what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. So the team naturally is going to go down to Steven. Steven's naturally going to take over that team. And then it's going to be Stephen Jones's team. What do you think? Do you think Stephen is going to continue to run the team in the manner in which Jerry did? Or do you think Stephen would actually hire a GM and actually hire coaches and get away from the yes mentality and really give the autonomy and the ownership to the coaches and GMs?
Dustin, that's not – I mean, I don't know. Maybe you misspelled there. Seattle and Pittsburgh aren't even in the same conference. So what I'm looking for is like all four teams to have held serve in the conference. So that doesn't
the
look
four
right
division winners within a
Yeah. So and I'm sure it's happened more recently, but like I said, I kind of feel like the Bills are going to win tonight, and then it would be 1, 2, 3, and 4, but actually stay in, and that'd be the first time in recent history that I can remember that the 3 and the 4 seed are the ones that made it to the second rounds. And
well, I mean, it would have to happen on that side because it's not going to happen in the NFC.
No, because it's the first number 7 seed to ever win a playoff game. Happened down in Dallas.
Cowboys catching strays. Here we go.
No, you're right, though. Hey, but going back to my original question, do you guys think that Steven would take the team in a different direction than what his dad did? Do you think he actually will be the legitimate owner and allow coaches and GMs to do what they need to do for the team?
Man, I don't know, because that could very well be top behavior, right?
Yeah, it could be.
You would hope so. You would hope so. Like, if you were a Cowboys fan, you would hope that that's the case, because the meddling obviously doesn't work. So you need something to be different. You would hope that when his kid takes over, that is one of the things that does change. Because, I mean, I would have to say, especially with as many Cowboys teams that actually were pretty solid, Jerry was the deciding factor where they kind of fell apart. Or at least it looks like it from the outside.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on this Buffalo-Pittsburgh game before they get started?
I'll give you one final thought. Hey, I was looking at the weather. It's crazy, man. It's 20 degrees. and I tell you, hey, the low is 10, and it's flowing. It's snowing like a champ. So, I guess the winter storm watch is all the way to 7 p.m. So, God, Florida's a forecast. I think it's going to be just like New England. But again, if Pittsburgh's defense can show up and that run game shows up, they have a chance.
Man, where do you sign up to be one of the guys that just runs across the field with the shovel to keep the yardage lines?
God, I wouldn't.
Because I'd like to watch that game from there.
Oh, man, you know what? Hey, listen, I would be so bundled up, it'd be ridiculous. And if you want me to shovel one line, I'll shovel one line. No big deal. I'll be the best line shoveler you ever saw.
Exactly. Just run it back and forth.
Oh, look at that. That's a big one right there. Your hometown has got more playoff wins since coming into the league than Dallas.
And again, I got to tell you, Doesn't look, look, Bo, look at this. Straight indifferent. Straight, watch it. Doesn't even affect me. Straight indifferent.
It doesn't affect him, and yet he's had this weird hand twitch going on all throughout the show.
What's it?
Oh, for the longest time.
So good. Oh, man.
It's okay. Oh, I can't wait because I want to put that same meme when his ass goes. It's all good. No worries.
No, I was dying when I was watching that.
No, it's good. I'm gonna watch it as soon as we got the show, but it looks like it. I mean, I got the gist of it right. It looks pretty damn funny.
It is hilarious. It is hilarious.
Especially when he does a lot of Dallas Cowboys parody songs. So it's he did the Piano Man. Yeah, that was a great. That's
I gotta go check out the rest of his
Piano
page.
Man I've ever heard. So yeah, Robert Williams Films. Definitely go check him out and give him a follow. Great dude, great guy, and I've met him a few times. He's just very creative and does amazing with internet videos. So,
hey, 7 degrees is the feel like temperature in Buffalo. 7 degrees, and it's got a 14-mile-an-hour wind.
Perfect.
I got 17, and I got 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's because you're looking at Samsung crap. Go get your American phone. Get your iPhone.
Did you just say that?
Yeah, exactly.
An American phone and iPhone?
Yeah.
Hey, the sweatshops are in China, by the way.
That's
The
made in China.
sweatshops are in China where they make them. So, yeah, you proud to be an American with a Chinese phone in your hand.
It's literally right next to the Nike plant.
Exactly.
No, that's not true. Nike's in Korea, I thought. I thought the Koreans making Nike crap.
Nope.
Hey, I kid you not. Hey, listen, I was stationed in Korea for better part of about 6 months. And one thing I learned about Korea was you can get super cheap Nike crap. It just has defects in it. Like, it won't be Nike. It'd be like NIK.
Oh, so it's knockoffs. Yeah, welcome to the swap meet.
No, it's Nike crap, but it's stuff that they get made right, so they ship it over, or they put it in these places, and you can buy it super cheap, whatever.
Yeah, you can already do that. It's called Ross.
Yeah, you're right. You know what?
That's where all the defects go. That's why his shirt, like, it'll hang kind of weird. I'm like, what is that? Like,
What is wrong with this? I feel so unbalanced. Why am I taking this Under Armour, not this one? I don't get it.
Headed back to the last football game to talk about, since it's happening at 8 o'clock, and I will be going to it. I know you guys will both be watching because you guys be texting back and forth, and Jay will be like, "Oh, I wonder how Jamie is today, and make sure he's okay. How Pags is feeling." And I tell you, I'm going to be feeling pretty good when everything's done.
Bo, I'm gonna be blowing the hell up out of that chat, man. I'm telling you, if it happens, you know it's coming. I'm just trying. If you ding 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 ding, it's me.
Yep.
It's me. Ding 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 ding.
oh yeah, no, it'd be nonstop. I'll definitely have to mute that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm going to mute it for 2 hours during the game so that I won't have to hear none of it.
Hey! I would love to see a shot of Pags in stall number 3, just crying, sobbing like a little baby. Hey, there's a guy in there got soda pants on and some makeup dripping down to his crotch, and he's crying.
I mean, to be fair, that would be hilarious.
That's not happening. You ain't got to worry about that even a little bit. So
it's all right. That's what Photoshop is for. It can still happen.
At least I'm not a bandwagon. I'm not on the bandwagon from. Hey, listen, it's like me living in Baltimore, being an Eagles fan.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, you're in Houston.
It happens all the time.
Houston.
Hey, Frankie's up there in New York, and he wears Patriots gear. You know what? Believe it or not, Pags.
So you use another bandwagon guy to prove that you're not a bandwagon. That's the way you did that. That's good work. Good work out of you.
Baltimore could get a pass though, because they didn't always have a team. They might have been a fan before the Browns got there, changed their name.
So, my cat says, "Fuck you, Pags."
That's fine. That's fine. You could be upset all you want because you're going to be more upset that Dallas is out of the playoffs and the Eagles are
Alice, give him the middle paw. Give him the middle paw, Alice. She can't give the middle paw right now.
Not even interested. There we go.
Yeah, bandwagons are the worst. I think every franchise can agree with that.
Of course.
Uh-oh. Now we're seeing all the bandwagons show up. Although in Green Bay, I can't believe it.
But see, I don't think you can really, just because somebody's not in the same city or whatever, I don't think you can call them a bandwagon. You got to look at how long this person has been sporting it, number one. And then number two, when the team takes an L, and it's a crazy jacked up L, and they're still on your show telling you that they love the Cowboys and they're sticking with. Come on, that's not bandwagon, Bubba. You don't go through this kind of humiliation and think you're a bandwagon. Come on. That just, in what sense of reality does that even make sense?
That's true. Usually bandwagoners will just grab the next hat. They'll be like, this team's still in it. Let me
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I take that. Look, there's a lot of things I don't look. You can rag on the Cowboys all you want. I've got indifference to that. I have got thick skin. I get it. I know where we are. I know I'm not unreal. But don't call me a bandwagon. I've been through too much shit to be called a bandwagon. Now, that's where I draw the line. Because even I know Pags is not a bandwagon. I know Bo might. Well, Bo, you might could be. I don't really know a lot about you. I'm still learning you. But you seem like a fairly legit guy. You're over here still talking Seahawks. So I'm going to take you at your word.
Hawks are my team, and I dealt through a lot of
Well, and that's true. You can call Captain Jack a bandwagon. That dude out there in Tampa talking about some Raiders shit, talking about holding up a Phillies flag. You will never see me hold up any other team than the Cowboys. And we talk about some bandwagon people. Captain Jack, in the words of Philly, you a bandwagon. You're not even a super fan.
Appreciate that, Rob.
How can you be a super fan and you're holding up another team's flag? Come on now. Let's get real. Let's get past the bullshit. Stop trying to be a fake facade and call them what they are, Pags. Call Captain Jack not a super fan. Call him a bandwagon because he's holding up your flag.
So 100%, you're not going to say stuff like that to go meet up with a pirate.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not only that, he's coming to this game with me. He's supporting my team because he's coming to the game with me. He's a Raiders fan.
Pags, I will hang out with you in there, but I'm not going to support a Phillies flag over my dead dream body or any other team's flag because I can't betray my team like that. I won't even make bets where it says, "Hey, if you lose this bet, you got to." No, I won't even do that because I'm not going to put myself in a position to betray that for which I love. I've gone through too much crap with this team.
Well, and there are cases like my guy TJ. He's been all over the place, and he's a Raiders fan. So I mean, just because you don't necessarily live there anymore doesn't mean you can't like a team.
No. See, but we all know that.
I need to hear when it comes to that. I'm busting his balls about bandwagon because I'm busting his balls about being a bandwagon because ultimately I know it gets right underneath his skin.
Yeah, well, there is that.
It is right underneath it. Like, I love the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys, even when they stink so badly and get their butts whipped by Green Bay. And now I got to go sit on the couch with Bo.
Right, we'll save you a spot.
Hey, but it's true though. Pags really does know how to hit that nerve. That's I really don't have a lot of nerves anymore. I mean, I really don't. That's probably like the only one nerve I have left. That's really the only one. That's it.
And look at Pags getting on the last one.
Exactly. I'm like jumping up and down. Like, yeah.
Hey, but that's okay though.
I'm not poking the bear. I'm stabbing it with everything I got.
But you know what they say though, bro? It's only because he can do it right now, so it's okay. Because whether it be this week or next week, he'll be right there with us, and watch this. He'll be like this. Watch this. Here he goes. Ready? Hey, where'd you come from? Oh, that's right. How you doing? What's the popcorn?
Hey, if we make it to the
I'm
NFC
bringing popcorn.
Championship game, if we make it to the NFC Championship game, watch out. Watch out. Because that means
I mean, you could
that
if you made
means because that means I mean ultimately we could go to San Francisco, but there's a chance now. I'm liking Green Bay in that Green Bay San Francisco game.
Yeah, you're leaning Green Bay in that game. All right.
Early.
Oh, okay.
You know, at least to cover. I got to imagine. I don't even know what the point spread is on that yet. Let's see if they have
I don't remember.
10 and
okay.
15.5.
Yeah.
So
I don't. That's another one. I don't think I'd take a double-digit spread there.
No,
because that
I
favors the
think Green Bay,
Niners.
you go
I'm
Green Bay
assuming.
with the points.
Yeah,
Green Bay with the points there.
Yeah, I'd have the Niners win outright, but yeah, I'd have Green Bay covered.
John Lester posted identical 3.64 ERAs with both teams and a 6.36 winning percentage. How about that?
That's kind of
nobody could say he wasn't consistent,
right?
Yeah, for all those people that just heard me read it out loud, that's
crazy.
That is complete consistency.
Yeah,
so
that's actually kind of amazing.
Yeah, so I guess he played for other teams too, so he had
Wow, Bo.
3.64 ERA wasn't his total ERA.
Bo, your mom just said
Right.
Green Bay over San Francisco. Bo.
Yeah,
Bo,
well,
no, Bo.
the thing
So
that's
take
funny.
the weed away from mom. Mom
no.
just smoking the pipe a little bit too much. You say, Mama?
So
Mama, you had too much.
Here's the thing that's funny about my mom is she likes like four or five teams, right? So sometimes like when you're reading through it, you're just like, I mean, because yeah, she'll rep for Green Bay, the Raiders, the Hawks, and the Ravens. Those are the ones that she tends to like, and then really any team that's playing against the Cowboys.
I gotta be honest with you. Any woman named Feather Freebird, all I can think about is the little sunflowers in the hair back in the 60s. Smoke a lot of. Bro, I'm gonna call it right now. I think you were conceived at Woodstock. If your name is Feather Freebird, you're either conceived at Woodstock or you got the feather in the cap. You know what I'm saying? The Indian, not the dot, but the feather. You know what I'm saying? So,
and there you have it.
Well, thanks for showing up. Nope.
But anyways, so before we got like a few more minutes left to go, anybody who is an Eagles fan that happens to be in Tampa, feel free. We still have some tickets left available for our tailgate that's going to be right across the street from the stadium. Just go to phillysportstrips.com and say go to Trips and Tailgates and come purchase your tickets for the Tampa tailgate. 3.5 hours of open bar and food. And then, of course, Eagles, Buccaneers playoff game. So it should be a lot of fun tonight. I look forward to that. That's where I'm going to be. You know that front and center, front row tonight. I am front row. So I'm going to be there with my bells on, of course. And
I just want to say I'm going to be looking pretty close. When I watch that game, I'm literally going to be like, I know he's out there. I'm seeing if I can find him.
You're going to be looking for him on screen. I got you.
Oh, they show me. They show me. It's like.
Oh, I know. I think the last three times.
It's always the handsome ones. It's always the handsome ones.
Yeah, and then if you're tuning in tomorrow morning, I'm going to have Coach Bono on. He was a special teams coach for numerous teams around the NFL, so he's going to join me for the first hour tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Perfect. So, because I'm going to be a little bit late, if I get to make it at all, because they're supposed to get somewhere between 6 to 8 inches of snow in Philadelphia, so I may get stuck in Florida for an extra day or two, which it couldn't be the.
I don't know if
worst
that's a
thing.
bad thing. Hanging out in Florida is not a bad thing, is it? I mean,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
right.
talking about. It may not be the worst thing in the world. It'll be like, oh, how about this? I'm still here. So,
yeah. Oh, darn.
But
hey, if you guys are around 11 o'clock Central before this show, I will. If Pags loses, I will be thoroughly breaking down the Eagles. And well, before we even get to Bo, but I'm gonna get to Bo. Hopefully, me and Bo are gonna have a great time with Pags not being here, and we can talk about the seat on the couch and all that entails, and what Pags is gonna look like when he gets the suntan off and the paint off, and what it looks like on the couch with me and Bo. That would be a great picture. We'll all splice that in together.
Or I will be heading on my way up to Detroit, and you guys will still be watching what it looks like with me being at a football game and you guys sitting on a couch.
You know, that's fine. I didn't think the guys from Detroit. I didn't think the guys from Detroit could give us a call.
I'm just jealous you're going to be down there in Florida because, I'm starting to look
a little
awfully pale because the sun
You're
is
almost purple, Bo.
I know. The sun has not been hanging out with us a lot. So I need some of that. Yeah.
So, and Robert, yes, you are correct. When I come back here, I will be coming back here in March. I will be doing a bunch of different, I'll be here for just about a month in Tampa for not only a Flyers game, but then I'm going to be staying for spring training. So I am definitely going to go spend a day or two at Treasure Island once I get here. So that should be a good fun. But everybody, again, thank you for hanging with us today. I know that we beat up Jay a little bit. Hey, listen, he deserved it. He deserved it. Cowboys are done. They did nacho year again there, Dallas. Nacho year again. You got that the fuck up. So
all I can say is, hey, look, there is a plethora of coaches out there. Jerry, there is a lot of coaches out there that you could choose from that would make me happy. Let's get it done. Mike?
Who knew that Romo? Who knew that Romo and Dak were the same guy?
That's what I said. But definitely, don't pack up, take Dan with you, take Kyle with you. Don't say goodbye. Don't turn in nothing. Just get the hell out and take. If you see Dak in the parking lot, just tell him to go on ahead and go home.
Hey, do you think I can get like a 6th or 7th round pick for Dak if they tried to trade him?
Yeah.
No,
they'd get a third. They'd get a third for him.
I think you would at least get a third. For Dak Prescott, I think you get a third. I think you even because he is still kind of in his 20s. You could probably even maybe swing a second. Okay, look, there is still a little value, and there are some teams out there that still can use a quarterback, even if he's not the best.
No, you won't get a second for him.
Yeah, I think so.
No, but what you would get is you'd get a third. You'd like if you were to do a package someone would actually take, right? They take his contract. They'd probably give you a third or a second. No, it'd be a third, a fourth, and like a conditional the following year of a third that could be a second. Like I could see that kind of package, right? Like if he went somewhere and did something he couldn't do in Dallas. So I could see that like conditional pick the following year, and you probably get 2, or they throw in like a random player, something like that.
I got to tell you, though, I'm glad you said, because he is coming up for contract. And I think whoever gives him a contract, there's going to be a lot of incentive-laden bonuses to make his money in this contract. Just given what he's done in the playoffs. Yeah, you're a great regular season. I'm sure Pags would say that. But when it comes to the playoffs, it's just a different guy. So I think if you want your money, you need to hit these incentives in the playoffs to get your money, No,
I mean, that's fair. Like I would do something like that if I was a GM, bringing him in and be like, yeah, so we've seen film.
Yeah.
So this is the number, and half of it is if you can do something in January. Yeah.
Right. I think you have to, because he just doesn't show up then. As a matter of fact, and you're right. If I'm interviewing him, I'm not showing him regular season. We're just going to talk playoffs. And every highlight reel that I show you is going to be playoff generated. Because that's where he falls apart.
If all you're doing is playoffs, you're not bringing him in for an interview. We are out of time.
Well, that's true.
We are out of time.
Right. I agree. Okay,
sorry, you got to get muted. Don't make me mute you. All right, we're muting you. So, anyways, everybody, thank you very much for hanging with us today. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow, same time. Go Birds. Yeah.
Go Cowboys!
Guys.